I read articles about you where they spoke about a phase where you even considered, something like suicide. Like, so what had happened in that phase? After you've had so much perspective, what drove you to that thought process?
So I think rejection is something I didn't handle well. And
professional rejection.
Yeah, I mean, it was rejection from on-campus placements. And, anybody in India or overseas who's gone through this process of what I call looking for a job on campus knows that is the most stressful phase of your life. And if anyone is watching this or hearing this and looking for that, just calm down. I think that process brings out the worst in people. I mean, it makes you unnecessarily competitive, and it's a dog-eat-dog world. And honestly, till then, Ranveer, I had never faced rejection because all through my life, I was like a good kid, class topper. I mean, the only insecurity I grew up with was around my looks because of my neck issues and my weight issue. Yeah, and I think it's a little worse as a girl because you're an ugly looking teenage girl in 13 and 14. And teenagers will go out there and say, oh, you're ugly looking. And my mom happens to be beautiful. So they're like, your mom is so beautiful. And she used to teach in the same school. How did you turn up this way? People actually say this kind of stuff. So if you see all that coupled with rejection, I think that's what. So I got rejected from a bunch of consulting interviews at that point, actually 7 in a go. And when I got rejected, I rationalized this later. So when I got rejected from the 7th one and I decided to try and jump off the 19th floor of the building, it was not even a huge consulting firm. You know what irritated me? It was the fact that I got rejected, but friends of mine who I thought had less grades got the job. It's like that dialogue, in 3 Idiots, कि खुद की हार इतनी नहीं बुरी लगती, लेकिन दोस्त जीत जाए ना. So then you feel even worse. So I think my inability, and I don't think our system prepares you for rejection, right? Yeah. You're always told, beta, work hard, keep doing your thing, study, settle ho jaoge. But what happens if you work hard and fail? Who prepares you for failure at any point in time? So that was my first bout of failure. And
on what? Because I'm sure you've sat through many hiring drives yourself.
Yeah.
What basis do you think they rejected you on?
I don't know. And I found it to be a perfect conversation, right? And it's not like I haven't been rejected after that. It's just that I handle it much better. But I always believe that rejection in some way is redirection to a better place.
And this could even be romantic rejection.
This could be romantic rejection. This could be college rejection. This could be rejection from, you're going to book a hotel and you didn't get it and you ended up staying at another one. It could be rejection. Any kind of rejection. For instance, when I was applying to college, I thought MIT was my dream school. I wanted to be an engineer, nerdy, all that. I didn't get into MIT. In retrospect, I think they rejected me because I was not the right fit. Maybe this consulting firm rejected me because I was not the right fit, or someone else was a better fit than me. And I ended up at McKinsey, which was great for me. So I always think rejection could be just God's way of saying, you're meant for something else that's a better fit for you.
Yeah, 100%. Rejection opens up new dimensions.
It does. And that's why I said redirection to a place that might be better for you. But you're not taught how to handle rejection well.
How old were you when you had climbed to that 19th floor and that was happening?
I think I was 19 or 20.
Well, you've already seen Nigeria, USA, Italy. You had experiences there. What was flashing through your head?
I was like, why is this? So in my head, it was like, I'm a really good kid here. I really worked very hard. I went to Wharton on a scholarship, which was very rare. I've kind of survived all this. And how can I be rejected 7 times here? 1 time is okay, but how can someone be rejected 7 times after being topper of her class, going through all of this, being super sincere about everything? That's what goes through your head, right? How can they reject me?
Why did you not jump?
Oh, I was lucky. My best friend at that time, who most people don't know is my husband today, he was sitting with me and he just called the cops. And he's like, this girl is trying to jump out of the window, do something. And that's when the cops came and they took me to this mental asylum, this thing that existed on campus. And then I had to escape. And my father was in a country called Zambia at that point in time. He had moved to Zambia from Italy. So I remember calling him at 3 a.m. saying, Papa, I need to get out of this asylum. And he said, how did you land up there in the first place? I said, a boy, I was trying to do this. And a boy, he asked me the same question, that why did you not? I said, listen, I was with this guy and he called the cops. And he's like, who is this guy? He was more worried about, I think, the boyfriend than the jumping off the floor. Traditional Indian father. But that's how I got out of it.
Wow, that's a very intense story. But you got me. I'm sorry, I'm just a little blown away right now. So you have lost my flow. Did that add any layer to your personality, just coming out of that?
When I finally, after that, I was a lot more relaxed. I was like, so I had a job offer at Microsoft. And then I went into my last interview at McKinsey. Obviously,
in a good way, can I say that you stopped taking yourself as seriously?
Yeah, I was just like, I stopped taking life a little less seriously. I still take life seriously, but I calmed down a little bit. It's like, this is just not. I was like, okay, I can't be this dramatic about everything that happens in life. I just have to cool it. My husband always says, stop and smell the coffee, stop and smell the roses, just calm down. Like, what's the worst? I mean, he was like, what's the worst that could happen to you? You'll get rejected by 7 consulting companies. I had a confirmed job offer at Microsoft. He's like, that's not such a bad deal in life, right? So I just started seeing the other side of life and putting my problems into perspective. And I think that helped.
Yeah, and now you're building one of the biggest corporate careers that India's seen.
And, I think telling the story obviously much later has helped me a lot. I mean, I'm glad I lived through that story because I also had the ability to tell it later. It's not that I don't go through pretty crappy days. I mean, I keep saying one day a month, like I hate my life and I want to kill somebody at work, or I'm like, oh God, I can't do this, or, my team's troubling me, or I'm having some personal problems. So it's not like I don't go through bad phases, but I've had the ability to talk about it now, rather than just internalize it. And I think that helps. So that was probably my lowest mental health phase. I think the last 3-4 years, ever since I have discovered the power of sort of sharing my stories, being vulnerable, and realizing that I don't need to be perfect, have been really good for happiness and confidence.